Today's lesson is going to be 4.7. I can solve two-step equations. And I already wrote the steps out for you on your notes. The first thing, before we start, we always change the sign of the one behind. Then we undo addition and subtraction. Then we undo multiplication, and then we undo exponents. I know this has 3 steps. For each problem, we're only going to have to do 2 of them. So for our first example, it's going to be 5 equals 4a minus 7. And we're going to start by drawing our line down the equal sign. And then the first thing we always do is change the sign of the one behind first. So I'll do that there. And then we look. Do I have any addition or subtraction I can undo? Yes, I have adding negative 7. So to undo a negative 7, I'm going to add a positive 7. If I add it on this side, I have to add it on this side as well. 5 plus 7 is 12. The 4a doesn't change. And then negative 7 plus 7 is 0, so this is now gone. Now I'm on step 2, undo multiplication and division. This means 4 times a, so the opposite of multiplying by 4 is going to be dividing by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so I have 1a equals 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then the step 3 is to undo exponents, but I don't have any exponents, so I'm done with this one. I can go back in and check my work. 4 times 3 is 12, 12 minus 7 is 5, so we did this one correctly. For example 2, we'll start the same way. We'll draw the line down the equal sign, and we'll change the sign in the one behind. Then I want to undo addition and subtraction first. So I have addition right here, we're adding a 3. The opposite of adding 3 would be subtracting 3. And I always show it on both sides of the equal sign. 3 minus 3 is 0, so I just have negative 8c equals 32 left over. I'm on step 2, undo multiplication and division. This means negative 8 times c. The opposite of multiplying by negative 8 is dividing by negative 8. So I have 1c equals negative 4. And I should check my work. Negative 8 times negative 4 is 32. 3 plus 32 is 35, so we did this one correctly. Okay, our next ones look a little bit different. This one, a minus 4 over 5, I want you to put a star by that one because this one is an exception. This one doesn't follow the steps that I had at the top. It's a little bit different because this line right here is grouping the a and the 4 together, just like if it had parentheses around it. So I'll still change the sign in the one behind. Then I need to get rid of this 5 first. And the whole thing is being divided by 5. So the opposite of dividing by 5 is going to be multiplying by 5. So I'm going to show that on both sides. I can change this into a fraction. And then these can cross cancel and become 1. So I have a plus negative 4 equals 12 times 5 is 60. Then I need to undo the addition. The opposite of adding a negative 4 would be adding a positive 4. So I get a equals 64. And if I check my work, 64 minus 4 is 60. 60 divided by 5 is 12. So we did that one correctly as well. Alright, that was, remember, an exception. It doesn't quite follow the rule because this line is grouping the a and the 4 minus 4 together like parentheses. Let's go on to this fourth one. I'll draw my line down the equal sign. And then I will first change the sign in the one behind, and then I'll go through all my steps. Step 1, undo addition and subtraction. I have addition right here. The opposite of a negative 19 is a positive 19. So this becomes 64 equals x squared. Negative 19 plus 19 is 0, so that's all I have left. Then I go to step 2, undo multiplication and division. I don't have any though, so I'm going to skip step 2 and go on to step 3, undo exponents. I do have an exponent. I have a squared right here. The opposite of squaring is taking the square root. So the square root of x squared is x. The square root of 64 is 8. But if you remember from the last chapter, we have to have positive and negative 8 on there because 8 times 8 is 64 and negative 8 times negative 8 is 64. Okay, we have 2 more. So for this one right here, I'm going to start the same way, draw my line. I can't change the sign of the one behind because there's no subtraction. Alright, step 1, undo addition and subtraction. There is no addition and subtraction, so I'll skip it and go on to step 2. Undo multiplication and division. I do have multiplication and division right here. I'm multiplying by 3, so I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I have z cubed equals 125, because 375 divided by 3 is 125. Now I'm on step 3, undo exponents. So to undo exponents, we take the cube root. To undo cubing, we take the cube root. And so the cube root of z cubed is z. The cube root of 125 is 5. And now that z is alone, I'm finished. And we'll go on to this one. I'll draw my line down the equal sign. I can't change the sign of the one behind because there's no subtraction. Step 1 is undo addition and subtraction. There isn't any. Step 2 is undo multiplication and division. I do have division. I have dividing by 2. So the opposite of dividing by 2 is going to be multiplying by 2 on both sides. Then I'm going to put 2 over 1. 2 goes in here one time and in here one time, so I'm left over with v cubed equals 13.5 times 2 is 27. Now I'm on step 3, which is to undo exponents. So I'm going to take the cube root of both sides. The cube root of v cubed is v. The cube root of 27 is 3. So if I plug 3 back into check, 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. 27 divided by 2 is 13.5. So we did that one correctly.